Hello and welcome back to the channel. And we haven't done a lot recently. Unfortunately, the great British weather has not allowed us to do any flying. It's currently February, it's still raining, it's rained every day for the whole of 2026 so far. New record, I think, according to the news this morning. Could be wrong on that. But because we haven't been able to do a lot of flying, we've been doing a lot of thinking and thinking about projects that we want to do this year. I'm starting on a project that, as far as I've been able to find, no one has ever made. So there's probably a couple of reasons this has never been built, as the real aircraft was a flop, to be honest. It didn't work and it got withdrawn from active service in World War II pretty quickly and was nearly curtains for the entire concept of the aircraft. But thankfully the designers took the aircraft back to the designing board, the drawing board, because basically they'd come up with a fantastic airframe. The fuselage, wings and tail all worked fine. It was let down by one, or I'd rather should say two things. They were Rolls-Royce Vulture engines, and if you haven't guessed it yet, I'm talking about the Avro Manchester, which I talked about at the beginning of my Avro Lancaster video about a year ago now. The Manchester was a flop, like I say, down to the engines that they had at the time, which was the Rolls-Royce Vulture. It was underpowered and they were prone to engine failures during flight, so not a great aircraft that you'd want to fly in. Certainly wouldn't put your trust in it. So they withdrew it, went back to the drawing board, widened the wingspan a little bit, added 2 extra engines and changed the engines out for 4 Rolls-Royce Merlins to create the Lancaster that we all know and love. So, getting back to my idea for a project, I thought, well, it's not a particularly well known aircraft, it's not a particularly well loved aircraft either, but does that mean that it shouldn't be built? Because at the end of the day, without the Manchester we wouldn't have the Lancaster. So everything happens for a reason, as my nan would say. So I scoured the internet. I can't find a single picture or evidence of anyone ever building a RC Avro Manchester. I could be wrong, probably am, but I also can't find any plans either. So I thought, well, it's identical fuselage to the Lancaster, pretty much the same wing, although a little bit narrower wingspan. The tail is relatively similar, although the Manchester had a vertical stabiliser in the middle of the fuselage and it had smaller vertical stabiliser on the ends of the horizontal stabiliser. So I thought, well, why not? It can't be that tricky, can it? So I have started. As you can see, I've printed and cut out the top halves of the wings. So this is obviously one half. It doesn't look that big, to be honest. I keep wondering if it's big enough, but it's slightly narrower wingspan than my Lancaster, so it'll be scaled to the Lanc. And obviously it's just going to have one engine pod per wing. Makes it a bit simpler as well. So the power plant I'm going to be using for this is actually the Flight Test Power Pack C kit that I took out of my P38 Lightning. I decommissioned that last year. So I know the power plant in that is more than adequate for this job. And the P38 was slightly narrower wingspan than this, so I know it's going to be absolutely fine. I'll be getting the same size props that my Lancaster's got, 8x3 tri-blades, because they're really nice efficient props, and it'll be running on 4 cell. So this is where I've got to so far. I'm going to carry on building a bit more of the wing tonight, and just wanted to show you that I've also got this, which I stumbled upon. I'm very lucky to find it. Now I looked online, because obviously the nacelles for the Manchester are completely different to the Lancaster, because the Manchester had Vulture engines, like I say. So I literally just searched online Avro Manchester engine nacelle, just so I could get a closer picture, so I could design something in foam board or possibly even 3D print. And I kid you not, the first thing that comes up is a 3D print for an Avro Manchester nacelle that someone has designed. So I scaled it up to the size I needed. I printed one that's the right scale for this project. So that's a win already. We'll see how that fits on. That'll give it some good details. So I'm going to get on building these wings, and we will see how I get on in the coming days, weeks. Okay, so we are a week later. Sorry if I look tired, I've had a long week at work. But the wing is nearly complete now. Got both wing halves built. Got the top half of the wing for the left hand side we'll attach in a minute. But I thought I'd just show you what I've done. So this is the internals of a wing half. I'm going for similar wing separation idea as the Lancaster. So I did the plywood spar here with the 7° dihedral, so that gives the wing the right dihedral angle and keeps it strong. Got another ply bit here for spar, and I've got 2 aluminium tubes here glued with really strong adhesive inside the plywood, and this side is the sleeve. This side has a smaller piece that is screwed into this part, which will slide into this part, which means the wing can separate easily but is nice and strong. So you may have noticed that in this side I've glued it all in and covered it up. So I've got an idea which I'm hoping will work. We're about to find out. Thought I'd video it, see if it works, and before I put the other half on. So before I'll show you on this one. Before I put the top on the right hand side, I marked on the base of the wing where the separation point will be, and I cut right through the base. Now I added a bit of masking tape to each side just to secure it, while I then put the top part of the wing on. So all I've got to do now, in theory, is turn the wing over, cut all the way through the top half where my cut on the bottom already is, and in theory the wing end sections should just slide off. I could be talking rubbish and this could all be about to go wrong. We're about to find out. Ignore that bit, that'll get filled in. But let's find out, let's see what happens. I'll put the camera back in the stand. Let's get on the bench so I can get to it. Right, so just use my ruler so I can see the cut line a bit easier. And that's cut line, so there we are, we're just left with a little section on the top here. Just cut. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. That slides in there nice and tight. To be fair, I know why it's grabbing, because I drilled the hole and then it's probably wants a file running inside, just to clean that up a bit. Yeah, but there we go. I can do it so you can see. And wing section, it's actually a really nice fit. Now clean that joints back up. If only I'd done this with the Lancaster, eh? But hey, there's always time for a mark for Lancaster at some point. So, I know that works a hell of a lot better than I was expecting it to be honest. So now, I may as well leave that out. I just need to add the top half of this wing and repeat on the other side as they'd say on Blue Peter, so I'm going to do that now. So here we have a clipped wing Manchester made for aircraft carriers and flying through very narrow hangars. Only joking. So I've got our right end wing section. It goes on there nicely. I've added a bit of ply there, same as on the Lancaster, to keep it all located. And we have the left hand wing section. There we go. So, back far enough. There we have our wing for the Manchester. Just got to fit the left hand aileron. And yeah, I'll just tidy the wing up a bit, and then my next port of call is fuselage. Now, fuselage should be fairly simple because it's exactly the same as the Lancaster and it makes no difference. So I printed all my plans out for that. I've got a sheet of foam board ready with the paper peeled on one side, ready to roll. Pardon the pun. So in the next video we'll be looking at the fuselage. Now this is done, and once the fuselage is done we can do the tail section. It's got 3 vertical stabilisers on that, so it's going to be quite an interesting bit to do. And then we can fit the midsection of the wing into the fuselage, secure it because that'll stay in the fuselage. And then we can look at engine pods, 3D printed nacelles to go on. Then we can do retracts, and then we can look at a paint scheme. I've already found one that I really like, so I'll show that to you in a later video, but this is where we are at the moment, so I shall see you in the next video for the fuselage. Happy flying, stay safe.